Yo, what's up,
All right.
guys? It's your boy Franklin here, and yep, it finally came true to the surprise of no one. We ended
Yeah.
up getting some good news from the Pokemon Company themselves. So, before all of that, thank you guys for all the support. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button. I also have Larry with me. You guys are pretty familiar with him.
Yeah. What's
We
up, guys?
we've done pretty much a couple collab videos, so y'all know who he is. If you come from his channel or from his group page, I mean, you pretty much know this man is pretty famous on these streets. So, anyways, today we're gonna be talking about the stuff that Pokemon Company has showcased. Um, Prior context information, we already knew Pokemon Snap was already gonna happen April 30th, and I was already convinced that this game was already like pretty good on its own because it's not developed by Game Freak, it's developed by Bandai Namco. And another thing is that Pokemon Central, y'all need to start putting respect on their name because they pretty much this is like the second straight time that they actually leaked important info. And it was pretty funny because if you follow their Twitter and you look at their tweets, someone I guess asked, "Can you tell us whether we're gonna be happy or we're gonna be disappointed?" And they literally said, I kid you not, they literally said, "You're gonna get your Sinnoh remix. Are you happy?" It was pretty funny, and they actually
Yeah.
got that true. So
It's crazy. I mean, Centro's been right. I mean, for the most part. I mean, for years, it's just like all these people coming out the woodwork saying like, "Yeah, Centro's always wrong," and I'm just thinking like they've been pretty right. I mean, there's so many other sites that post a lot of stuff that's like obviously lies, but like Centro's been pretty reliable. So that's why I mean, I usually if I'm going to share something that's a leak, I mean, it's usually from Centro. I mean,
right,
there's really no other reason not to because I mean they're right most of the time, and if they're wrong, I mean it was a rumor and it's a leak, but I mean they've had a good track record. I mean, so many people are like, "Oh, Dominant Pro remakes are happening," like don't trust Centro, and then like here we are. But yeah, I mean that's all I had to say about Centro. But like I mean, going ahead and probably going to get to the content in a second, like get to the
yeah.
main points that we're wanting to talk about.
Right. So the first thing they showed was a montage of the evolution of Pokemon over the years. And actually pretty interesting stuff. Like I didn't like realize that some of the stuff, like I guess accessories for the Pokemon games in general existed. I didn't know there was a Pokemon VR as far as I was concerned. There was some other stuff that they showed with the DS. It was pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty much they always do this every Pokemon Presents for their anniversary that I think last year did the same thing too. When actually I don't even remember what they did last year, but they usually show a montage of Pokemon in general, and they showed the most recent event that they did with the
Last
space
year was
station.
like a an amusement park, I think.
Yeah, I guess it was something like that, and I don't even remember that. I remember 2019's when Sword and Shield was announced officially. Um, so yeah, then we go through the announcement. Then they bring this dude over here who talks about Pokemon Snap. And like I said, I was already convinced of getting Snap anyways because it looks pretty good, and this presentation confirmed that it's gonna be a damn looking good game. They surprisingly they didn't run it in 60 frames per second. That was the case for the previous two I guess presentations for Pokemon Snap. So I don't know why they put this in 30 frames unless I'm tweaking. Um, but this game already looks good to me. This is gonna be like a must cop for those who play the original Pokemon Snap because just think about the magnitude of this game. Like, obviously it looks pretty good, but the first iteration of Pokemon Snap only had 151, and now you not only you're gonna have more mechanics to the game because this game has been evolving over the years. You're about to literally have 900 Pokemon, around 900 Pokemon, and that doesn't even include the forms of different Pokemon. I know some Pokemon like I forgot the what's it called, the dairy Pokemon that's in Generation 8 that has like 60 forms. Alcremie, I should say,
Uh, oh, okay,
um,
yeah.
and Vivillon, the butterfly from Gen 6. I don't
Gen
remember.
6.
Yeah, so
Wait, did they confirm that everything's coming back for Snap?
I'm pretty sure yes, because I did ended up seeing Gen 8 Pokemon. Like I saw a Grookey and a Scorbunny there, if
Okay,
I'm not mistaken. So to me, I think this Pokédex is gonna be pretty damn massive, and that's just basically gonna have more content overall. Um,
it'll have more than the core games.
yeah, that's pretty sad to say that, but yeah. Um, yeah, and there's actually like a scoring. I'm pretty sure in the previous game there was scoring. Depending on how good your photo is. So I like that, I guess. And then you can share your photos with social media, which I guess it's like an Instagram essentially at this point.
Yeah,
But it looks pretty good. Like I said in my previous video of Pokemon Snap, this has the potential to be a really good game for not just Pokemon fans, but for Nintendo Switch owners, because the Nintendo Switch has been pretty dry lately, outside of Super Mario 3D World being released not that long ago, and obviously right now we have the Xbox and PS, around right now. So yeah, do you have any thoughts on Pokemon Snap?
I mean, I played the original Snap. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I might get it just, I mean, just because, like, just for the trying to figure out the word for it, just to reminisce or nostalgia, just for the nostalgic. I mean, definitely if it has everything in it, I mean, it'll be pretty cool. Like, I want to kind of see how they implement like legendaries into it and stuff like that. Like,
Right. Yeah.
whereas like stuff like Lander is going to pop up. Like how, like I mean, the original for just 151. I remember the original was pretty big of a map. So I'm kind of wondering like how extensive this is going to be.
Yeah, so my speculation is that there will be a full dex because of all the Pokemon from different generations. Because if they're showing multiple starters, that's already like making me believe that they are going to implement a full dex. So it's releasing on March 30th. There's already pre-orders for those who care. Next up, we got trash ass news of Pokemon Sword and Shield. We ended up getting a Sing Pikachu, which nobody actually
Yeah,
cares about that. We got Cafe Mix. Yeah, no one cares about that. Pokemon Go. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I only jumped on Pokemon Go because I ended up getting two shiny Mewtwo's from the raid, so whatever. And then Pokemon Masters EX. Ain't nobody playing that no more. So, anyways,
I
on to the
haven't
bigger
played that since
news.
release.
Yeah, on to the bigger news. They ended up showcasing a timeline, and it goes back to 2007. And they ended up showing Diamond and Pearl on the DS, and obviously that led us to the first screenshots of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are now officially confirmed. So all you
Yep.
Pokemon fans, stop crying. I don't want to hear no Pokemon Black and White remakes now for the next 5, 10 years, whenever it comes out. And my
Probably be
first
like 15.
impressions, yeah, my first impression of this art style, I actually like it. Contrary to a lot of people who are complaining, a lot of people don't like the chibi style of the characters that are showing up on the overworld. And one thing that I like was able to point out is the look down view of the game is coming back. 'Cause Sword and Shield basically had a I guess you can say a horizontal point of view
Yeah.
where you're not looking down below buildings, but rather looking at them. So this brings back the look down view of the game, which, and I remember the presenter was also saying something about um this remake, or I don't even know if it's a remake at this point. I feel like it might be called a remaster. It's
Yeah.
being more. It's actually, they said that it's gonna be faithful to the original games, which is making me believe. Okay, well, I mean, we did see the underground, so that's coming back. Perhaps we're not going to see Megas or Dynamax, because obviously those were not introduced, unless somehow, some way they interconnect multi-dimensional theory into this and bring back those mechanics. I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, the characters look a little funky to me, but other than that, I like that we have background mechanics, or not background, like background views in battles. Um, I did see some of these Pokemon moves. They look kind of a little bit more upgraded, rather than just a simple copy and paste from Swish. Cause pretty sure I don't remember seeing that Hyper Beam look like that, but
Yeah.
that's just me. No one uses Hyper Beam nowadays. And yeah, it's coming worldwide 2021 late. I would assume this is going to be the holiday game that they're going to push.
Yeah, it's probably
Um,
gonna be November.
yeah, so most likely, usually Pokemon always drops in November. Has been like that for quite a while, unless they want to push this as the holiday game like they did for Let's Go. But other than that, yeah, this has a lot of hype, and one more thing before I pass it on to Larry. This is actually not being developed solely by Game Freak. It's actually developed by Ilika, who also made Pokemon Home. So you gotta take that with a grain of salt when you're looking at these images and seeing this game. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more information about these games. There's no way they're going to not show anything up until that point where it gets released, because that's poor marketing, and they never do that. So, yeah, I'd like to hear your opinions, Larry. What do you think
Yeah,
about this?
I mean, as far as design goes, I'm still a little torn on it. I mean, I do like the design. I mean, it's pretty much like brings back that classic feel, but I mean, this is definitely a remaster and not a remake because it looks pretty much just like an upgraded version of like the 3DS games.
Right,
Like, I mean, I would have loved to see. I mean, as much as we hate the Sword and Shield graphics, I would have loved to see like of more of like that style with like the overworld and stuff. But I mean, I'm
right,
fine with it. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I know a lot of people are really disappointed in it and stuff like that, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a remaster. It's not really a remake. Like this isn't the same thing as when we got Gold and then like Heart Gold and stuff. Like this
right,
really just feels like a remaster. I mean, the only thing that really worries me, I mean, like you said with like the deck stuff, like I really don't think that we're gonna get like full decks. I think it's gonna be probably 1 through 4. We might get some regional variants possibly for anything that was like above like in Gen 1 through 4. But if we get an expanded decks, I'll be impressed because since this is the same company that does home, I mean, they can't really pull that whole we don't have the designs and stuff like that because all that stuff's already in home.
right.
So I mean, I'd rather them give like an honest answer instead of kind of like beating around the bush. But I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't know how much longevity this game is going to have, um, but I mean, I'm gonna buy it either way. I mean, I think everybody, like you said, people are still complaining, but I mean, they're gonna buy it either way. I mean, it's just it's it's here. I mean, I'm still like I'm not too excited. I mean, I'm excited for there to be a new game, but I mean, it's just like I'm more impressed by what we have coming up. So I mean, yeah, again, probably won't see megas. I'm really glad the new Dynamax, hopefully, but losing megas definitely hurts. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if they're going to try to keep it true, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna pass it back to Frank. That's really all I had to say about this game. We can probably talk more like comparing it to the next game after this and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, just adding on to what Larry said, you gotta understand that a lot of people some people are complaining about the art style, which I kind of agree to a certain extent. But obviously, looking at the art style and playing with that art style are two completely different perspectives. If I had to compare this remake slash remaster, whatever it's called, I would mostly compare it to Link's Awakening, which also ended up being on the Switch. And even though the art style was kind of similar like this, it was more of a cutesy, chibi style. It still was a phenomenal um, remaster that stayed true to its core. So I'm gonna go on the expectation of using that comparison to this game, and seeing the underground also would make me likely to believe that we're gonna have secret bases coming back pretty
Yeah,
soon. Because that's what the underground was all about. Not it was. I mean, mostly people were just farming items like the fossils and the high sell Poké Dollar, items like gold, the gold nuggets and the rare bones or whatever. Um, but having that connectivity with other players, that's what's really important, because this generation in particular is what really kicked off global connectivity. Because I'm pretty sure we had the PAL Park, we had the GTS, like the first iteration of GTS being implemented, and these are one of the fewer. These are one of the first games that also implemented Wi-Fi on the DS. So it was
Yep.
pretty revolutionary at the time. So I hope they upscaled that connectivity and, like I said, have a hopefully maybe the GTS is actually going
Have
to
a
be.
Ycom. I mean, I feel.
Yeah, so they might have a Y. I don't know about Ycom. So I don't exactly remember how connectivity was back then because you had to go
I
into
don't
the
either.
Pokemon Center and do all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Um, the only thing about GTS is that we already have GTS at home in the Pokemon Home, so it's kind of redundant. Obviously, with these games, most likely there's going to be some way to have some compatibility with trading Pokemon on home or GTS and all that. Or they probably like a Sinnoh similar to how the Galarian Pokemon and how the Pokemon Go, Pokemon themselves
Yeah, I'm
have the
trying.
the G mark, whatever. And one last thing, um, I like how they didn't mention anything about the, Team Galactic, or they didn't mention the Safari Zone because I'm pretty sure this was like the last quote unquote Pokemon game to have a Safari Zone outside of the Gen 6. Actually, did Gen 6 Auras even have so? I'm pretty sure they did, but I don't remember
I
off the
think they
top
had
of my
something
head.
similar. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah, so
It
this
was
was
something
like
similar.
so this is like the I'll say it, the second to last games to have a Safari Zone, and yeah, so I hope they don't botch that somehow, or perhaps if they want, this is my speculation, they can make the Safari Zone similar to Wild Area, but just instead of top down, it's just the overworld like movable camera and all of that. But other
Oh
than
yeah,
that,
I would love that.
just staying true to the source. That's why I'm picking it up because not only is this a nostalgic kickback for me, but it's rather if you're gonna stay true to the source and just upgrade graphics, I'll take that any time of the day over something that is completely being done from scratch and it just looks horrendous. And knowing Game Freak's
Yeah,
reputation, I think
yeah.
I'd rather take the former. So yeah, pretty excited. Another thing too, people are gonna complain. Well, Sword, Diamond and Pearl were 60 or $40 back in the day, and now it's $60. Well, here's the thing, man. So,
I hate that complaint.
so this complaint makes absolutely no sense. Because you gotta understand that Nintendo Switch games manufacturing cost, the cost to make these games, is completely upscaled from making a 3DS game. Well, the reason why Nintendo DS games or even 3DS games are $40 is because their manufacturing cost, the cost of making a game to look like a 3DS costs $40. Whereas Nintendo Switch, obviously you need more quality. They're not going to put a 3DS looking game on the Switch unless it's like a complete port. And it just takes a lot more money for them to make that game. I remember there's an article out there talking about like why everything is like 60 or $40,
Yeah,
whatever. And yeah, that's a really dumb complaint. I know some
I
people.
remember.
So I'm sorry, but
You're good.
I know that some people are saying, well, there are certain games that are $40. Like I guess the new, not new, but there was a Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Switch, the up to date with like all the cards and everything. It's $40. Well, see, Nintendo does not have that power. It's the publishing company or the developing studios that tells Nintendo, "Hey, we're having a sale." Nintendo games. That's why you always see Mario, Zelda, Pokemon. They rarely go on sale. I don't think in the 4 years of the existence of the Switch, I ever seen a Pokemon game or a Zelda game drop below
uh,
$40. I don't think I ever have. I've seen some discounts like 10% because you're buying a physical copy of the
yeah.
game, but they
Let's Go.
rarely
You can
they
find it
rarely
for 20 for 30 every now and then, but I mean that's a rare instance when you find it that cheap.
yeah. So like I said, it's Nintendo's power to determine. Oh, it's not Nintendo's power to determine whether games go on sale. It's the developing companies themselves. So let's get that out of the way. So now we're going on to the pretty crazy. I mean, in terms of Game Freak, which is the bar is being set so damn low nowadays. A pretty
Yeah.
crazy game coming out. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Well, I'm gonna call it Arceus because I don't know. Y'all are wrong for saying that kind of stuff. But looking at this game is the first thing that came to my mind is that it looks like a Breath of the Wild esque kind of game with the background and the them walking around trying to catch Pokemon. I think the first scene we saw was Dawn or someone looking like Dawn literally do a somersault, which is crazy as hell, and catching a Shinx, I believe that's what it was. Um, this art style does remind me a lot of Breath of the Wild. I am a little hesitant on some of the textures, like some of these trees I'm looking at and the grass. But other than that, it looks pretty damn good. Like to see a region being built from scratch, because I think the main goal, as they talked about in this game, is that you're completing the first ever Pokedex for that region. So you're going way back in time. So you're not gonna see like buildings or cities or like, technology and all that. So it's pretty cool. The other thing I noticed too was that the starters in this region are not actually none of them are Gen
Yeah,
4.
I think it's was it Roulette,
Yeah, it was Rowlet.
Roulette,
Um,
the penguin, and I think it might have
I think it was
been
Cyndaquil. Yeah, I have it right here. It's
yeah,
Cyndaquil,
Cyndaquil. Yeah,
Rowlet,
it's right in
and
front of me.
what's this? Oshawott, I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, Oshawa. Yeah, the
Yeah,
otter.
the
I
otter
thought it was
from Gen
Piplups.
5. So it was pretty interesting that they decided to not follow the formula of introducing the starters within that same region. That's already like whoa, oh my god, my god, Game Freak, slow down, you know. Um, and then we ended up seeing pretty much was a snippet of the game, what it entails, and we see Arceus. Now it's pretty cool seeing Arceus because um, Arceus technically was not legal to get in Generation 4 unless you had an action replay cheat code that enabled the Hall of Origin, which you go ahead and climb Mount Coronet and you catch this thing at level 80. So it's pretty interesting that they do make a game finally talking about Arceus after all these years, because I'm pretty sure from that point on, Arceus has always been a mystery gift Pokemon. Like you don't catch this thing in game ever. Um, so it's pretty cool that they talk about that. Then afterwards, they pretty much talk about the company that's helping developing both games actually, which is already kind of surprising there. And you get the introduction to the starter Pokemon. We already know who they are, and yeah, um, pretty excited for this game. But I'm gonna show a little clip here, and I know people are gonna be like complaining like crazy. I gotta find this clip. So there was a moment in the Legends Arceus gameplay where they show what's this Pokemon called? It's the there it is. So I'm gonna show that. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna replay this a little bit here. It's
Wait,
Shieling.
what
It's
line is it?
Shieling, I believe. What? It's the pre-evolution of Chimecho,
Oh yeah, and it was kind of like really
and
laggy.
it looked like it was in the the Spider-Man Into the Universe looking ass animation. I hope they fix that because I unless there's something I'm missing, I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to look like that. And then I did see some frame rate drops on some of the Pokemon while they're attacking. Obviously the game footage is not final, but obviously we learned our
Yeah,
lesson from Sword and Shield. And yeah, other than that, I really like this, and the Pokeball design is actually different too, because we know these are not modern Pokeballs. They have like it was like a those what's it
like
called? Like a soda lid or something, that little cap or
yeah.
whatever. So it was pretty cool. Um, I did like I said, I did see like a lot of texture. It does remind me a lot of Breath of the Wild mixed with the wild area, and it looks pretty damn well. I would assume that they're going to flesh out some of the environment, but other than that, it looks pretty cool. Larry, you got anything to say about this?
Yeah, I mean it looks really good. I mean, compared to Sword and Shield, it looks a lot better. I mean, I think they'll definitely like smooth things out. This is really the open world game that everybody was kind of been wanting for a long time.
Right.
Um, I'm kind of hoping. I mean, we got the rumors for like the Switch Pro that this is something that like, I mean, it'll still be obviously playable on the normal Switch, and like it'll be pretty much like a damn good visually once like the Switch Pro comes out because like it has a lot of like untapped potential. I feel But it I mean it looks great. I mean, the only thing that really again bothers me just like the decks. I mean, but I mean for if it's going to be a good game and like not like just really short and stuff like that, I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, just seeing the like on my screen right now, I have like a battle up. Like, I mean, I was really worried at first it was gonna be like more ATB, where it's like more like Final Fantasy 15. But I mean, it's still the looks like the same turn based, and you're actually seeing the mons like fight in a field, which is really cool. So as long as like we have basic mechanics and stuff like that, I mean, I'm honestly fine with it. Because I mean, I play it more for competitive as opposed to more so the enjoyment of the game. So
Right.
as long as like the competitive features aren't really messed up, then I'm honestly fine with it. I mean, it looks good. I mean, this is definitely a step in the right direction that I feel like now that we have like a Switch and a more powerful system and stuff like that. I mean, there's honestly, in my opinion, no reason that we shouldn't be more so in this style. I mean, I hope that one day we go back to like our what we're used to, the standard main series game that's like set in modern times or like instead of like this, which is in the past. But I mean, it looks good. I mean, only thing I really am worried about is like more so the PvP. Like I said about the Diamond and Pearl remake, like is there gonna be
Mm.
like a inefficient like online system? And another thing, because like as much
Oh,
as we do
I think
hate
I
Sword and Shield,
yeah. Sorry to
is it?
interrupt, but I'm pretty sure they mentioned. I think Cerebi did that. It's single player. There's no online whatsoever. I'm pretty sure, unless
Are you
I,
serious?
unless I'm smoking crack. But I'll have to check. Actually, I'm gonna check
I
Cerebi
hope
right now. But I'm gonna.
I I hope I hope you are. Like I mean,
Oh man.
I wish you could see my face just like drop when you said that
Yeah,
right
let me
now.
check.
Like
I remember just reading some comments on Instagram saying it's online, whether it's online or not, and it said it's not. So I'm actually gonna confirm that. Actually, it's right here. The game is presently listed as single player with no multiplayer features presently planned. So we might have to see more. So yeah, there you go. You can lift your jaw off the table now.
bruh, like okay, so that 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 changes things a bit. I mean, okay, I mean, I kind of take back some things, but I mean, because I mean, like my hope is that like yeah, okay, we get this system and it's like we can still use competitively, but now if like I mean, if it's going to be considered a one player game, I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of Pokemon because I mean, the whole purpose of it really is the more so the intercommunicating and like the mingling with other players. I mean, I hopefully Joe Merrick and Sarah be wrong about that, but yeah, that's rather disappointing.
Yeah, it'll
If it
probably it'll probably come down to because this game is getting released early 2022, so it's
yeah,
still
so
they said
they're
it's
still
still in development.
developing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that like made me lose my train of thought because what I was gonna say earlier because like I mean that ties into the connectivity and stuff like that with other players. Like I was gonna say, as much as like Sword and Shield wasn't really a great game, the raid system that they implemented was probably one of the best features they added. I mean,
Right.
raids have pretty much single handedly carried Sword and Shield to where people still play it right now. If it weren't for
Yeah.
raids, I mean, Sword and Shield lifetime would have ended really quick. So I mean, with an area like this, I mean, looks like I mean it's a lot larger than the wild area. I think definitely having raids is like something that is almost a must. I mean it's one of those things where like I mean it's there, might as well use it. I don't really see a reason why not to. Um, yeah, I mean I'm still I mean my head's still all fuzzy after you said like no online play, but I mean it's yeah it's
Yeah, I'm going to interject there because um usually from what I've seen in open world games like Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild or even other games like Final Fantasy VII remake, it's really hard to implement. I wouldn't say it's hard. There's or even Xenoblade, I guess in this instance, that can be used in comparison. Like they, it's hard to really implement online features in an open world game at of this magnitude. Now, I'm not saying all open world games should not have that because eventually, like games like Mario Odyssey ended up getting online connectivity quote unquote, with the challenges and all that stuff. But you're not playing with people in open world. I mean, if Pokemon can pull it off, then salute to them. They might be geniuses after all. But having it single player, I'm pretty sure they want to focus more on allowing the players to build their own world because, like they said, this is going back. This is Sinnoh. This is the Sinnoh region in the past. So there's no lot. There's not. I mean, I would assume there's not a lot of technological advances at this time
I
period.
mean,
And but yeah, like you
they can
mentioned,
make
like
something up.
yeah, they can make something. Perhaps you can have a kind of like how Mystery Dungeon does it, where if you need help, you can send codes and all that to other people, or I don't know. Like it's pretty hard to even think. It's probably hard for the developers to say, okay, how are we gonna connect open worlds for everybody, or can we allow people to walk in to other people's worlds? But then it wouldn't make sense because they're all the same. It's not like Animal Crossing, where you're building your
Yeah.
own island or whatever. So
I mean, it can kind of be like how Sword and Shield is now, when like you see people running around doing raids and stuff. I mean, if like I get what you're saying, like since this is purely open world, it seems that could be really, really intensive on servers, and like Swiss servers are already like not the best right now. But I mean, I I'm really concerned if there is no online play, because that really I feel like it's gonna limit things. I mean, yeah, we had
right,
like, what was it, Coliseum and like XD Gale of Darkness, which were more single player. But I mean,
yeah.
couldn't we play against other people in those? Or we couldn't. I can't remember.
Yes. All like typical battles. Yes, I
Okay,
remember
yeah, I
that.
couldn't remember. But I mean, I would be fine with that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, technically, I mean, all the games are single player, but I mean, it's just that connectivity of other players. Because I mean, if that were the case where we don't have it, I would rather have, honestly, this game first and then the Diamond and Pearl remakes after
Mm,
in 2022. Just because I mean, I really do think that the online connectivity is just, it's what really puts it's what really gives these games longevity. Like if there's no online connectivity, I mean, it's just like you're releasing a game for people to beat in 15 hours and then they do nothing else with it.
right.
Because I mean, it's these games aren't really known for their story or like amazing gameplay and like amazing
Hmm.
stuff in general. They're more so known for the stuff that you can do against other people. Like I mean, and if you can't interact with other people, it's just like it's a little grim, like the outcome.
Right. And I mean, it's their first. This is like probably. I mean, it is the first time where we see a game like this not follow the typical Pokemon formula. So perhaps
Yeah.
they're still like tweaking it out, or they're planning like how they're gonna move forward with this. Because like you said, there could be ways where you can implement stuff like connect online connectivity to an open world game, but it's their first time dipping their toes in such concept. And to be honest with you, this concept should have been implemented years and years ago.
Yeah.
Probably during even the
GameCube.
3DS or yeah, or even GameCube. Um,
Well, I mean, we kind of got it with the Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness, but
yeah.
still,
So it's we're gonna I'll personally give Game Freak or like whoever's developing these games a little slack on that, and perhaps
yeah.
as DLC if there is DLC. Now the only thing that's really like making me speculate that there'll be more games like this is that it's Pokemon Legends and that sounds like a series.
Yeah.
That sounds like a series in itself. Perhaps we'll get to see different mythical Pokemon in different regions, and perhaps that's gonna make maybe like a series or even a trilogy of games. And this is the perfect time after this game gets published or whatever that you can start jumping into different generations that desperately need a facelift. I mean, like Gen 5 is incredible on its own because of what it has
Oh
brought
yeah.
into the franchise. And literally everyone thinks that Gen 5 is peak Pokemon up until, the downfall of Gen 6, 7 and 8. Perhaps we get to see a series of this game that jumps into different regions. I know there's a rumor going around. I mean, there was a rumor saying that there was going to be an all-in-one Pokemon game collection
I would love to have
where you
that.
get to visit different regions. Well, you know what? You might not be visiting all the regions at once, but splicing it and making them open world, that doesn't sound bad either. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Um, so pretty much that was it. Um, to be honest with you, this is probably one of the better directs of video games in general. Um, I did end up getting a PS5 somehow a couple weeks ago, so I'm enjoying that. But the PS state of play was not good because I'm just looking at the same games over and over again with hard release dates. The Nintendo Direct that just happened not that long ago was that wasn't that great either because there was for it not being around for more than was a year and a half. Like it was pretty
Yeah.
bland, and outside of like Smash DLC and Splatoon and different Switch games being announced, I wasn't really hyped. But this is how you do a video game presentation. You show your montage, you show what's previously going to be mentioned in different games, and then end it with a banger, man. Because especially for the expectations of people,
Yeah.
the Pokemon community is just a cesspool, 24/7. They always want everything in front of them at all times.
Oh
The
yeah.
way they deliver it is like, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do with the games we have now. And then this guy comes in. I never seen this guy, the one who was
I don't
showcasing
know.
it.
I
I
don't
don't know
know
who that
who he
is. He looks
was.
pretty. He said he's who's the chief operator or something like that. Let me see his title. He's chief. Oh, he's a COO of the Pokemon Company. So someone who's not Game Freak, by the way, because otherwise it would have said Game Freak. This guy just comes
Yeah.
in. He's all freshed out. He's all draped up on all of that, and then boom, he gives us the information, and it was pretty straightforward. I noticed like with the Cafe, Snap, Go, and Masters, like he just skipped out that stuff pretty much, which salute
I
to
don't
him.
even remember those in the presentation, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so that's why it was a 10-second montage. Here, these games, bam, screwed it. All right, now we're going to the real stuff that you guys been waiting for, and I'm pretty sure in the back of their heads, like they knew the fan base was waiting, obviously, for this to come because
Yeah.
literally every single post is like, "Oh, Sinnoh confirmed," or they're doing this super reach of doing all this math and science from out of nowhere and be like, "Yeah, Sinnoh confirmed" and all that. So yeah, glad I don't have to read that anymore. Um, I guess for my final thoughts, I do hope a Switch Pro is coming soon. I don't think it
Yeah.
will.
I think
If
it's coming out soon.
I've
Well, not.
read
I
yeah,
mean,
I've read
probably
some.
end of this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to speculation to that, and it is the Switch's. It's about to be the Switch is about to be 4 years old, so it would make sense to update it because literally every console. Well, majority of the consoles nowadays in Nintendo have gotten mid-generational upgrades. Like we had the Wii with the Wii U, we had the DS with the 3DS, um, and we had the Game Boy Advance with the Game Boy Advance SP with the the light, which was pretty revolutionary at the time. Um, I do see it coming, perhaps. I'm not too sure, but if it is gonna come, it will probably be in par with Breath of the Wild 2 because obviously Breath of the Wild and Switch were debuted at the same time, literally. So perhaps that's going to come. And there are a lot of games that definitely need to get that higher 4K
Oh
resolution.
yeah.
I'm getting tired of seeing these 30 frames per second games, and they're not
Yeah.
even living up to that 30 frames because the Nintendo Switch can't handle massive upload time or you know and there's no ray tracing in these games either, so some of this stuff is gonna look wonky at the beginning, but I would assume y'all are gonna get used to it. um in regards to like the Pokemon community, you got what you want and shut the hell up. I know some of y'all are gonna complain about the graphics. I know some of y'all are gonna complain about the price tag of these games. I know y'all are gonna complain that certain Pokemon are not gonna be there because I'm assuming if they're gonna stay true to the core, I'm talking about the Diamond and Pearl remasters.
We get Will
Um,
score back, thankfully.
yeah. I'm pretty sure the original Pokedex had 493, and I'm including the Pokemon you were able to get through Pal Park, or that's what it was
Let
called.
me interject real quick. So I mean, we might actually have more now. Think about it, because you got to remember we just saw Roulette, we saw Roulette and Oshawott, so we might see more than like the traditional Sinnoh Dex or whatever region this is right now. I
Or you're
think
talking about Legends, right?
no. I'm talking about just
Oh,
because was it Roulette is Gen 7, Ashuat is Gen what, 5, and
Yeah.
we're doing Gen 4. So I mean, I think we definitely can see more stuff. And
Oh,
also,
okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I wanted to point something else out to you. Because I know, like, since this is definitely, I mean, it's taking place in back in time,
Hmm.
I'm thinking we might also see like some like primal, like in quotation marks, version of mines. Because I don't know if
Mm,
you saw it, but somebody pointed out to me earlier. I have it on my screen. That Rhyhorn in the trailer, that
okay.
Rhyhorn is not the standard color of Rhyhorns. If you think about it, that Rhyhorn kind of reminds you of like the Crystal Onyx from like, I think it was like the TV series. So it kind of brings in a little bit of speculation with that. Like, will we see some like kind of more primitive forms of certain mons and stuff like that? I mean, I would definitely enjoy to see that. I feel like that's definitely going to happen, but either, I mean, this Rhyhorn, I mean, I don't know if you remember it from earlier. That Rhyhorn is a very bright blue.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
And
Let me
right,
see if I can look at
yeah,
it for a second, because you might be right. I just don't
right.
remember exactly, because I do. Let me see
Because I
here.
definitely feel like there are some little things in the trailer
Mm,
that are like can be, you can take away some stuff from it. Because I mean, let me
okay.
know when you find it though.
I see it. Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, like
it's a little bit of a,
it's
yeah. I would say a little bit of a reach.
I'm
Might be
I
because
don't know.
if
Because
it
that
was
one
clear,
it,
if it was like diamond clear, then yeah, of course. But it might be because they're trying to emphasize weather. Perhaps it's like a strong sunlight going on right there, or it might be just lighting in general. It does look a lot brighter than what
it's
I would
like
expect
super
it to
bright.
be. Yeah.
Because like if you look at like other mons that get showed in the trailer, like all of them, their color palettes are pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But that Rhyhorn is just like super bright. So I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I mean, either they messed up or there's definitely something up with it. And another thing, I mean, I don't know if I have it on here. I can't remember where it was, but if in one of the scenes you see like a giant, it looked like a wormhole in the sky.
Oh, I
Um
did not see that. Where is that at?
yeah, there were. I don't even remember anymore. I mean, I saw it like in passing, but I could not tell you like a time step. But other people might have saw it, but it was definitely like a giant wormhole. But stuff like that. I mean, I think
Hmm.
there's definitely a lot of like little things to take away from this game, and like the what we just saw. I mean, I'm definitely. I mean, I'm impressed with it. I mean, I'm disappointed there's no online, but like you said earlier too, with how this is Legends Arceus, I think that this might be like a new kind of series because we might start seeing us be doing things that like we miss out on. Like we might see Z get brought to us in this way.
Yeah.
Like we get to see Z, and like we finally get to see was the AZ's Floette, that storyline with like the whole, was it the tower with like the power and stuff or whatever it
Yeah.
was. Like we might actually get to see that because of like this series of games. I mean, if we do get these, I mean, I guess for me that would be kind of asking too much. I mean, I'd be fine if like we get like our standard core series of games. We get like these kind of games. They're more so single player, more RPG based, and more story driven than anything else. I would be totally fine with it. I mean, as long as we don't have it be like this is like the one main series, I think everybody's going to really enjoy it because I mean, yeah, I say this all the time. I mean, they don't really have to keep up with their growing and aging demographic.
Right.
This game definitely seems like it is more so targeted towards the older demographic.
Of
I
course.
mean,
Yeah.
but my thing is also it kind of seems like it might be a certain barrier of entry towards like the younger audience. That's why I kind of feel like we might get more of these games. We might, and like these games in conjunction to the actual core series of the games of like the online functionality and stuff like that, because this really does seem like very much an RPG. I mean, we're still so many details missing. This is literally what, like 2 minutes of footage, and like we're pulling all this information from it. But I mean, it definitely, I mean, it seems like it's catered more towards older gamers.
Yeah, and the other thing I like to point out, because this, oh, the Arceus or Legends Arceus is coming out in early 2022. For those of you who are waiting for a possible reach of Gen 9, that means more likely it's Pokemon. maybe Pokemon Company's not gonna follow the 3-year, 2-year cycle of generations. So like, I'm
I
pretty
think we'll get
sure.
Gen 9 probably 2023,
Yeah, that's what I'm
honestly.
also thinking as well. If they actually do, because this Pokedex is looking kind of mighty, like big as hell now. Because it's about, I'm pretty sure they're gonna want to reach 1,000 Pokemon at this point. But
Oh yeah.
that basically pushes the timeline a little bit further than usual because obviously with all the other video gaming companies going on, they're also gonna push their games. A lot of them are actually pushing their games to 2022 because of the pandemic. So I
Yeah.
don't know. We shall see. But other than that, like I'm pretty hyped for these two games.
Oh
Am
yeah.
I gonna buy it? Hell yeah. Do I care? Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
gonna
I don't
buy it.
really care. I'm gonna buy it no matter what. I might play it. I will probably play. I'll probably take a different stance on this game than Sword and Shield because Sword and Shield I couldn't really relate to it, but with these games I do because this is where I would say the Pokemon magic started for a lot of people. A lot of PokeTubers started in this generation as well. And just reliving that moment in time when I was a kid, getting my DS and getting this game, I believe when it came out in April 2006. I can't believe that's like 15, almost 15 years ago. It's an
Getting
incredible
old.
experience. Like if you were a little Timmy and you picking up Sword and Shield, yes, that was your first Pokemon game. Good for you. But for us, for the old heads who've been with this franchise for a very long time, like this is the game. Obviously we've played older games, but this is the game where Pokemon like took off for us. This is where
Yeah.
we get to Wi-Fi battle for the first time instead of using the little shitty wireless adapters for Game Boy Advance and all that. So this is the pretty big generation for us, and I'm kind of glad, based on what I saw first impressions, they did not ruin it. As long as it's a remaster, you stay true to what it is, rather than making it look like shit, because you want to update it. I'll take that any day of the week. So that's just my closing remarks right there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it looks like it's stepping in the right direction. It looks like this is kind of like more so experimental, and I really do hope that it's something that they expand on. But I mean, the outlook's good. I mean, as long as they can kind of maintain this formula, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm gonna play it. I mean, people are gonna still complain. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you can have your complaints. I mean, with any game, there's no perfect game. All complaints are, I mean, honestly, I mean, you have your right to it and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're complaining is kind of like not really letting you allow you to have fun with anything, you
Yeah.
might want to assess some stuff because I mean, it can get pretty toxic when it comes to like people complaining about stuff. I mean, it's all warranted. Criticism is warranted. I mean, as long as you aren't getting like really overboard with it, I mean, hey, have your issues. I'm gonna have issues with this game. Frank's gonna have issues with the game. I mean, we still playing. I mean, at
Yep.
the end of the day, we're still gonna play it. I mean,
Yeah, and
I mean that's all I had to say.
yeah, and at the end of the day, I know some of y'all are going to be playing this game for only like 2 weeks, and then you're gonna drop off the face of the earth with this game. So
Oh wait, that's not the only thing I was gonna say. But yeah, because that I mean, for people that are in Central that have seen me upload this video, a lot of these people that are complaining, I have literally never seen them in my entire life, and it's just like, no, I kid you not.
no,
I'm
I
like,
understand. I
it's
understand that. Talk
it's
talk
like
your
people
shit, man.
making
Talk
like,
your shit. This is open mic,
oh,
man. Talk your shit.
it's just like it just amazes me because like, and it kind of proves the point because I mean. I've said so many times like Mons is kind of dead. And when I mean dead, I mean like the overall
Yeah,
activity
it's yeah,
has really went down a lot. And like so many people who literally have not seen since 2019. Nah, that's not dead. I'm thinking like, where you been? I mean, this is point case proven that like this game really needed some insertion. I mean, even though
yeah,
people are disagreeing, this is really reviving the community a bit more. I mean, yeah, it's going to fall off a cliff again pretty soon after this, when like in between announcements. But I mean, this is something we definitely needed because I mean, it's getting a lot more people involved and getting a lot more dialogue going in the community. But like, I mean, like I said before, like most of these people, I mean, they're sitting there like, yeah, man, don't complain about this game. Like, you better just play it. And I'm thinking like, yo, you stopped playing in December 2019
yeah. That's
because you did
true.
not like Sword. I'm like,
That's true.
I'm like, it's just a lot of people are really trying to take this moral stand of like, yeah, I mean, you just got to play it. Like I had one dude I saw in a post. He's like, you guys, this is the game you've been crying for forever, a Diamond Pro remake. And technically, we really haven't. it's just progression. I mean,
Yeah.
we've literally had one, two, and three, and I'm trying to tell him like, hey man, I mean, we didn't really demand Diamond and Pearl. It's just like this is the natural progression. He's like, well, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, dude, one, two, three, four. He's like, we're gonna agree to disagree. I'm like, there's
Mhm.
no agree to disagree. Like this is one through four. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't get it. But I mean, it's just that's what I mean before about the toxicity. So many people are trying to act like they aren't. A lot of the people who are trying to call out toxicity are being toxic themselves.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting there trying to tell somebody constantly like, hey, don't criticize this game, stop criticizing this game because you're going to play it anyways, that is toxic in itself. You have every right to, with anything you purchase, to be able to criticize it. I mean, because I mean, it's just life. I mean, if there isn't a perfect game out here, everybody's criticized the game at one point or another. If people have that attitude, no games get played. The
Right.
gaming community would be absolutely terrible
Oh
because
yeah.
people would just be like, yeah, it has flaws. I'm not playing this. I mean, I don't think they're going to pull like a Cyberpunk 2077, but like, I mean, every game has flaws. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
like you got to live with it. I mean, it's nothing to take personal. Too many people take this to heart when like you really shouldn't. It's end of the day, it's a game. You're going to play it. You might play it for 2 months. I mean, for me, I play competitively. I do not care about the story mode and all the other stuff. Yeah, I want to enjoy it that a first initial run through, but I care more about competitive. I
Right.
could care less about the story mode. I mean, it doesn't really reflect on me whatsoever. I play through story mode to get to competitive. That's
Yeah.
that's how
That's
I view the
true.
game. But I
Yep.
mean, I think now that is my final thoughts. I'm gonna kick it back over to Frank. See what he has to say.
Yeah, and this is to close it everything off. I kind of like how they're, I guess, Game Freak and Pokemon Company are scheduling their stuff because we've had Pokemon Sword and Shield November 2019, and then 3 months later we had Home, and then 4 months later we had DLC 1, and then 4 months later was DLC 2, and then that's October. So 6 months from that point in time, Pokemon Snap will be there, I guess, because technically from this point, Pokemon Snap is 2 months from now, and I'm pretty sure this upcoming the remakes are going to be at least probably 6 to 7 months from Pokemon Snap. So and then we have early 2022 would have the Legends Arceus game. So I kind of like it that rather than making full on games every year for the main series, they're taking their time with it. So I guess they're finally
Yeah,
learning their lesson now that you know you can make you can make these games, you're still gonna sell these games, but the problem is now I think the Pokemon company is now like looking into their critical reception in regards to what do the people like, what do what do they want to see, and I'm kind of glad that someone that's not Masuda is telling me that, which is already like kind of like a foreshadowing of what's to come or what's they're going to
yeah,
be to change for the Pokemon Company. So that's pretty much it. This was a long ass conversation, but hopefully,
yeah. This is almost an hour.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
almost an hour. But I'm glad we talked about it because um, obviously obviously none of our points are going to fit in 11 minutes because we're talking not just about the games, but the community, the reaction, and what's
yeah,
how Pokemon's going to move forward. And basically, just on this presentation alone, I can see that the Pokemon Company is finally taking a step in the right direction. That they're not rushing their
yeah,
games. That they're
definitely.
finally living the expectations that people always put them on a very high bar. But I'm kind of glad I'm seeing that they're making some changes. Um, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion video. Appreciate all you guys' support. You guys can go support
Definitely.
me. Go ahead and support Larry. He's been doing his thing. Um, yeah, I'll have his link in this other channel in the description. And yeah,
Yeah, and I'll have Frank's in mind. But yeah, I mean, that's it for me. I mean, as always, I mean, like, subscribe, all the little fun stuff at the end. Definitely, I mean, if you're not sub to Frank, sub to Frank, not sub to me, sub to both of us. Like the vid, share it. I mean, let me know what you think about what we talked about in the comments. I mean, definitely, I mean, what we say isn't the end all be all. I mean, you might bring some new ideas for us. So definitely, I mean, interaction is always key. But I mean, that's all we gotta say. I mean, and I don't know if Frank has any closing words.
yeah. I might, like I said, I might do giveaways. I'll probably do one this weekend, depending on how I'm feeling. But other than that, let you guys know that. And yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy this video and peace.